RPGs, a celebrated genre that has for the most part eluded the original Xbox. Don't get me wrong, there are RPGs on the big green, but they're few and far between, with the most notable being Morrowind, the Knights of the Old Republic games, Jade Empire, and Fable. But there was one RPG that, at the time, did grab gamers' interest for many reasons. Sudeki. Developed by Climax, no, not the Shining Force guys, the Silent Hill Origins Shattered Memory guys. Anyway, Climax wanted to make a game that had that JRPG style, but with some Western RPG action thrown in for flavor. Did they succeed though? Well, only one way to find out. This is Sudeki. The story of Sudeki takes place on the world of Sudeki, a place that has been split into two, light and dark. In the kingdom of Illumina, Queen Lucica does her best to save her land and people from the invading Achlorians who come from the dark world to wreak chaos on the light. To protect the kingdom, she employs her chief scientist Elko to construct a device to shield the land. Unfortunately, it requires 4 crystals. No, not that kind of crystals. To operate it. So, to save their world and drive back the Achlorians, 4 friends must band together to find the crystals to power the machine. There's the aforementioned Elko, the scientific inventor who doesn't really believe in magic.
We'll be able to store enough magical energy to safeguard our kingdom for generations. We have 1 tower up and running, but the other 3 remain dormant as yet. We urgently need to acquire 3 large crystals, and it seems that the village of Shadani Mo contains one of sufficient size.
Tal, member of the Illumina Guard, who joined to prove his worth to his father, who abandoned his family for the army, resulting in Tal's mother and brother's death.
Some of us just don't make it back. Something happened out there. I only just survived myself.
Oh, you're a born survivor, aren't you? I mean to say, you survived when Private Abraham didn't. You survived when Officer Brashill didn't. And of course, you survived when your brother didn't!
What's this got to do with him?
Everything!
Damn it. He was your son, but he was my brother. You don't think I wish I could change things? You just have to cast blame somewhere, don't you?
Ailish, the princess of Illumina and a powerful mage who longs to see the world away from the castle and has a painfully obvious crush on Tal.
So then, Yemi, what's on the agenda today? Elko switches on his tower this afternoon, but you promised we could visit my mother today? Ooh, lucky me. I get to spend all day in a village full of old men. You must have been very bored growing up. I had a lovely time. Only boring people get bored. Really? Well, I was hoping for something a little more exciting, that's all. Perhaps a troop inspection.
Crystal.
Lastly, there's Buki, a half-human, half-feline warrior from the land of Shadani Mo, who protects her tribe from the invaders.
Of the Lightspawn, Gara has been driven to the edge of insanity. Now her children hunt us down, and she will fight until the last to protect the crystal.
We can defeat her together.
No, Gara is as much a Shadani warrior as I am. She has lived alongside us for so long that I cannot allow her to die at the hands of strangers. I will face Gara alone.
Right off the bat, I can tell you that the story of Sudeki is very basic, for lack of a better word. It follows all the RPG tropes, and even as you progress through the game and see all the twists and shocking reveals, it's still nothing new. Which is sad, as they could have done something pretty cool with the concept of a world split in 2. Plus, it doesn't help that the characters are nothing more than RPG stereotypes that we've seen a million times already, making it hard to relate to them. Not once during my playthrough did I feel any type of emotion for these characters' journey. I just kept going from point to point, waiting for the next cutscene. Thankfully though, the gameplay helps alleviate that slight boredom. In a sense, Sudeki is indeed an RPG. You have main quests and side quests to earn experience, money, and weapons. You level up after earning enough experience, although instead of just having your stats raised, you're given a couple of orbs to place in which stats you want to raise, like having more HP, stronger attack power, or new skills, with extra orbs that can be found in chests around the map. There are towns that have shops to purchase helpful items and sell valuables that enemies drop for cash, inns to rest at, and a blacksmith to enhance your armor and weapons with status buffs. And of course, you talk to NPCs to learn more about the world and story of Sudeki. Speaking of weapons and armor, you mostly find new armaments for your heroes in chests during your travels, as opposed to just buying them, although there are a few you can purchase. Armor, though, is a bit different. As you progress, you are met by a helpful spirit named Tengu, who bestows upon you not only new armor, but spirit strikes, which I'll get to that shortly. What's cool about this game, though, is that your weapons and armor visually change on your characters, something I greatly appreciate in RPGs. While exploring the map, you'll find out that each character has a unique ability that helps them solve puzzles and find hidden loot, similar to the mechanics used in the Wild Arms series. Tal, being a strong soldier, can push and pull heavy objects to clear paths. Buki goes all Wolverine and uses her claws to climb walls. Ailish uses her magic to dispel hidden doors and items, and Elko uses his jetpack to fly to faraway platforms, with crystals nearby to refuel. These abilities come in handy as there are a ton of secret paths to find, meaning there's a bit of backtracking involved. Thankfully, as you play, you'll come across portals that will warp you to places you've already been. But now into the true meat of the game, the combat itself. Foregoing a traditional turn-based style like the games that visually inspired it, Sudeki is an action RPG with all actions taking place in real time, with the ability to swap between characters on the fly. What's unique about Sudeki is how the characters fight. Tal and Buki's sword and claw combat is played like a hack and slash, complete with button combos to perform stronger attacks. While the combos are fun and easy to perform, there's a bit of a delay while trying to pull them off, sometimes resulting in enemies getting off a few cheap hits, especially if they swarm you. It also doesn't help that there's no type of lock-on, meaning you'll probably swing at a lot of air. Elko and Ailish, using a gun and staff respectively, instead play out like a first-person shooter, complete with weapon swapping and reloading. Of course, they too fall into the whole lock-on category as well. Boss fights, however, are a bit different though, as they play out like a platformer, and once you figure out the pattern, it's a piece of cake. Of course, each character has their own special skills, or skill strikes they can do. These range from attack to support, with some attacks letting you move to the area of enemies you want to hit before the strike starts, which is really nice. Then there's the spirit strikes, the powers you get from Tengu that I mentioned earlier. Similar to a summon, these powerful abilities can be activated when the yellow bar on the side of your HP meter is full. Like the skill strikes, these vary from a screen-clearing attack to giving your party powerful buffs and healing. One last thing I want to mention real quick is the, quick menu. During gameplay, or combat, pressing the Y button brings up the quick menu and slows down game time, letting you use items, change up weapons, use your strikes, and change your NPC's AI. I don't know of many games that use this on-the-fly feature, but I'll tell you, I wish there were more of it, because it's really nice. If there's one thing Sudeki has going for it, it's the presentation. Visually, it does a pretty good representation of a JRPG, with the characters all sporting an anime-style look about them, right down to certain attributes.
I'm pretty sure that when you see the Sudeki box art and the 5 out of 5 stars from Maxim catches your eye, I think you know what they were giving the 5 stars to. Yeah.
I mean, it's nuts the outfits that Ailish and Buki wear, especially as their armor upgrades. Ailish goes from a super short, hardly there dress to a skin-tight bodysuit, while Buki actually loses clothing. I think it's hilarious, especially when you think about the fact that Buki's ultimate armor is essentially butt floss. On top of that, there's another reason this game gets its M rating. It's kind of bloody. I don't mean like manhunt gory, but there's some bloody explosions and decapitations here and there. Environments are very nice as well, ranging from bright and colorful like the Kingdom of Illumina to its neighboring farmlands, the muted colors of the desert land of Shidani Mo, and the dark and moody locations like the Ochlorian world and its many creature-inhabited caves and dungeons, which is even more impressive when you find out that the game has near seamless transitions and barely any loading. The music is an interesting blend of high-tempo, energetic tunes for combat and very calm and soothing melodies for the towns and area maps. Hell, even the towns in the Dark World have nice music. Voiceovers, though, aren't as nice. Yeah, there are a few good performances here and there, but for the most part, many of the characters sound either bored to be there or just annoying. Plus, is it me, or does Elko sound a bit like a certain eccentric actor?
What? You useless bag of bones! Damn you! I will switch the power on manually. Okay, hold tight, people. There are 2 switches in the roof up there. If I can reach them, then we can finally pull the plug on Kryn's central processing unit.
Chicken, Peter, you just a little chicken. Chip, 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 chip.
At the end of the day, Sudeki is indeed an RPG, but a basic one. It's made more for those who want to enjoy a good story, but not be bogged down with all the trappings of a traditional RPG. If I had to compare Sudeki to another game in the genre, I'd say it's like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, in that it's an RPG for new players.
Now that's not to say that Sudeki is terrible. True, it does have some flaws to go along with its simplistic nature, and the fact that you can beat it in about 15 to 20 hours, which is nothing for a diehard RPG fan. It might turn you away. Still, I say give it a shot. It's still a decent, fun romp that doesn't warrant too much attention, and is also pretty cheap to pick up. And of course, having massive amounts of fanservice TNA doesn't hurt the game's cause either. And for those who want to give Sudeki a chance but don't really collect for the big green, you're in luck. It's available on most digital PC game services like Steam and GOG.
Well, that's another RPG down, and more to go. So, until then, this is the Dolly Popka saying, thanks for watching, and stay green, everybody. See you next time.